Hello everyone. Today on our Krita screen, we are starting a brand new trilogy and embarking on a meditative drawing journey of Finn from Adventure Time. This video will be the first part of our series, and we will focus entirely on finding the right form, which is the sketching phase. As soon as we open our canvas, I draw a plus sign by eye in the middle and leave a few question marks around it. I ironically ask the viewer, is this center I drew by estimation really the exact middle of the canvas? We usually get it wrong when we trust our eyes, so now I will show you a great and practical tip for finding the exact center of the canvas in Krita. I'll open a new empty layer right away, select the Fill tool, the bucket icon, and fill the layer entirely with blue. Then I'll lower the opacity of this blue layer slightly so we can see the content underneath. Now when I click on the Transform tool, Krita automatically shows me the exact middle, the mathematical center of this filled layer, with that small marker. Now that we have found the center, we pull our guidelines or guides from the top and side rulers and make them intersect exactly at this point. Thanks to the Center Snap feature in Krita's default settings, the guides click into this spot perfectly. If that center marker disappears during the process, you can easily make it visible again by clicking the Transform tool once more. Without dealing with any complex magnetic settings, we have found the exact center of our canvas. Now I am locking these guidelines so they don't accidentally shift while drawing. We can now delete or hide that blue fill layer since its job is done. Now, with peace of mind, I can draw my own real plus sign, my perfect center guide, right in the middle. After securing our position with this simple yet effective technique, I start creating the rough sketch of Finn. Just like drafting an architectural plan, I establish the basic skeleton of the character with geometric shapes. I use a circle for his head, a capsule-like form for his torso, and simple stick figure lines for his arms and legs. I build the foundation of the form by marking where the joints and knees will be with small circles. This initial skeleton is quite rough, and we will go over this layer with a cleaner sketch shortly. However, before lowering the overall opacity of the layer, we make a very important technical move. We grab our digital kneaded eraser. While drawing, we might have pressed too hard in some places or emphasized the lines too much. If we reduce the opacity of the layer as it is, the light lines will completely disappear while the dark lines will still remain very prominent. To prevent this and bring the entire sketch to an equal saturation level, we lightly erase those dark areas with a kneaded eraser. Once we balance the tone in our sketch, we can now reduce the layer's overall opacity value, turning it into a reference form like tracing paper. By opening a new layer on top of this transparent foundation, I begin to get into Finn's actual form. There is a very major and technical change we need to pay attention to here. In the first rough sketch, we had drawn the torso straight like a log, as a flat cylinder. But to add movement to our character and make him display a more organic posture, we give the torso a slight bow-like curve in this second sketch. Even though an animated character normally has straight lines, we deliberately emphasize that flexible curved line resembling a spine to add dynamism to the stance. After establishing the organic structure of the torso, I add that famous bear hat, his dot-like eyes, and his huge smile. As we place the facial features, you can see once again how much that perfect center line makes our job easier. I shaped the design by drawing his shorts and those thin, curvy, spaghetti-like arms and legs. Now, as we approach the final stages of the sketch, I include the backpack on the character's back into our draft. While drawing the sword he holds in his hand, I also pay close attention to its hilt and angle. Since we are in the sketching phase, we're very relaxed. If we don't like the angle of the sword or part of the form, we can instantly intervene with the Selection and Transform tools. As the outlines gradually emerge, I don't just settle for simple outer lines. By varying the pressure I apply to my pen, I make some lines thin and others thick and pronounced. I add light cross-hatching shadows to the folds of his shorts, the bottom of his backpack, and the sword. Even though we're still in the sketching phase, these small shadings give volume to the character and wonderfully bring out that traditional paper texture of our smart canvas. Although we're focusing heavily on technical details today, we continue to feel how relaxing and rehabilitating it is for the mind to build a character from scratch with a digital pen. When we reach the finale, I gather all the work we've done into a group folder. By toggling the layers off and on one by one, we examine step by step how we went from those initial question marks and the rough skeleton to this organic fin sketch. Thus, we successfully complete the first part of our series, the sketching phase, where we found the right form. In the coming days, I will share the inking phase, where we will go over this sketch with clean ink as part 2 on our channel. Right after that, the painting phase, where we will fully bring our character to life with colors, will be with you as part 3. If there are other characters you would like us to draw on our channel, please share them with us in the comments. To refresh your mind with the rhythm of art, never put your pencils down. See you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to the clean inking or inking phase, which is the second part of our Adventure Time fin drawing series. In our previous video, we completed our sketch where we found the right form. Now it's time to build the outlines of the structure in a permanent and characteristic way. As we start our work, instead of making a direct freehand brushstroke, we create some smooth outlines using Krita's drawing assistant tools. We wanted to show this vector-like and flawless approach that you saw in areas like the backpack as an option up front, especially for those who struggle with brush control or want to produce perfectly smooth work. However, we won't be going down this mechanical path for the entire drawing. Now, starting from the head, we are putting these assistant tools aside. We are switching to our fine liner brush, which we specifically prefer for digital inking, and starting to draw freehand. So why did we return to freehand instead of completely flawless tools? Because we want to keep alive in digital that natural vibration of the human hand, the wobbling effect, that slightly flawed but characteristic touch of traditional ink on paper. We even choose to do things the hard way on purpose by turning off Krita's assistance like the brush stabilizer. This hard path actually means putting our own signature on the artwork, reflecting the natural rhythm of our hand and our line character onto the canvas. Let's also talk a bit about why we chose the fine liner for this job instead of a standard ink brush or fountain pen. Finn is a character with almost vector-like, very clear lines in his own animation. The fine liner brush, while being pressure sensitive, can maintain line thickness consistency for much longer compared to other brushes. This way, we draw neat lines suited to the character's nature, while also incorporating our own organic style and manual skill into the work. Here, I want to mention another practical detail that incredibly speeds up our workflow during drawing. Instead of constantly changing our pen's thickness setting manually, we use different pixel variations of our fine liner brush that we prepared in advance. We select the 30-pixel and thicker version of our brush for the character's main outlines and thick highlights. As we move down to medium thickness lines or inner details, we switch to the 20-pixel or 10-pixel versions with a single click. This method provides us with tremendous speed and practicality without ruining that same ink feel. You can see how we affect the line thickness with the pressure of the digital pen while drawing his curvy spaghetti-like arms and his sword. While drawing the angular structure of the sword with decisive strokes, we capture a different line dynamic in the legs and the folds of the clothes. After finishing the legs and shoes, we ground the character by adding a few grass details under his feet so he doesn't look like he's suspended in the air. Our outlines are done. Now we take our thinnest 10-pixel fine liner and begin the traditional cross-hatching shading to add volume to the character. These series of parallel lines we drop on the bottom of the backpack, the arms, the shorts, and the sword establish the light and shadow balance of the form. You can see that even before moving on to coloring, we add tremendous depth and three-dimensionality to the form with just ink. After our shading process is finished, I zoom out from the canvas a bit and examine our drawing in its general outlines. The overlapping of those blue, slightly messy forms of our underlying sketch layer, with these clear ink lines carrying the vibration of our own hand, gives the artwork a complete traditional paper warmth. We have built our work solidly. Now I am putting my creative generalist signature in that beautiful empty space on the right side. Thus, we successfully complete the inking work, the second step of our series, in both the technical and organic way. In our next and final episode, we will move on to the painting phase, where we will fill this wonderful structure with colors and fully bring our character to life. To refresh your mind with the rhythm of art, never put your pencils down. See you in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome to another brand new video. Today on our Krita screen, I am here with the painting phase, which is the third and grand finale of our Adventure Time Fin drawing series. In the previous episodes of this series, which we uploaded at different times, we completed our sketch where we found the right form of our character and our clean inking work that added a characteristic signature to it. If you missed those episodes, you can watch them on our channel, but now it's time to fully bring this strong structure we've created to life with colors. As we start our work, I open a new layer for the painting process and begin with Finn's clothes. There is a very important and professional technical detail you need to pay attention to here. Instead of filling the colors flatly all at once with a digital bucket, the fill tool, I do the painting slowly in strokes using a special textured brush. Our goal is to continue feeling that wonderful traditional paper texture that the Smart Canvas offers us underneath the paint. I deliberately do not hide the brush marks because rather than digital perfection, we are looking for an organic and handmade feel. Just like in the previous stages, these repetitive brush movements relax our minds and offer a wonderful process of artistic focus. After completing the clothes, I choose a warm peach tone for the character's skin color. I continue to paint his face and those curvy, thin arms and legs with the same textural sensitivity. We make absolutely sure to use separate layers for every new color and material, because working on separate layers prevents other areas from being affected when we need to intervene with a specific color later, and it gives us tremendous control. For example, let's say after applying the skin color or the blue of the shorts, we realize we want this tone to be slightly different, slightly more vibrant. Instead of erasing the color and repainting it from scratch, right at this point, we use that wonderful flexibility of Krita and open the HSV, meaning hue and saturation adjustment. By slightly playing with the hue, saturation, and lightness sliders here, I bring the color exactly to the ideal point I envisioned and confirm it with a single click. Now we move on to the backpack. I color the body of the bag by choosing a vibrant green, and for the bottom part, darker tones that will match the volume of the form. Then I move on to the sword, select that bright golden yellow color, and paint it carefully. You can see how those decisive lines and hatching shadows we laid down in the ink phase add wonderful three-dimensionality to the character when combined with paint. I also choose a dark, saturated brown for the hilt of the sword and Finn's shoes and continue the painting process. The main coloring of our character is done. Now we move on to the grassy ground under his feet to save him from looking suspended in the air. While painting the ground, I again make sure my brush strokes remain textured and organic. After applying the green of the grass, we can open the HSB adjustment again if necessary and make minor manipulations to make it look more harmonious with the character's color palette. Now we will add a very aesthetic and professional final touch that will take our composition to a whole new level. Over that empty paper texture behind the character, I draw a soft halo, an aura, with a very pale pastel blue tone to surround Finn. This light background touch detaches the character from his ground, pushing him forward and making the colors pop in a much more vibrant, energetic way. As we come to the end of our painting phase, I gather all these color layers we've created into a single group folder named Color GRP to maintain our workspace organization. By toggling this group on and off when I need to, I can instantly compare the ink-only version and the painted version of the project. Starting from those first question marks, the blue reference layer and the rough skeleton, we have successfully completed this wonderful journey we built step by step with ink and colors. I zoom out from the canvas a bit and happily look at this lively drawing of Finn next to our creative generalist signature and checkmark located on the top right. Thank you very much for accompanying me on this three-part adventure. If there are other characters you would like us to draw or prioritize on our channel, please share them with us in the comments. To refresh your mind with the rhythm of art, never put your pencils down. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed this fun experiment and would like to see more interactive content like this to give you new insights, check out what else we have on our channel. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to get notifications for new videos. See you again soon, and thanks for watching.